Hello there guys, welcome back to X-Plane 10. This is my third look video for a sort of generalized first look, if that makes sense. So basically the last of the first look videos. Yeah, hope you get that. And we are at, there's something going on behind me, but we're at Cape Town International. And we're in this Cirrus thingy-majig type jet. And I thought we'd just do some circuits and fly around, and I'm going to just sort of summarize what I think, and bearing in mind that this is beta, that is a very noisy aircraft. Let me just see what's happening out here. There it is. We've got a Skyhawk just taxiing on out. So we're going to follow that Skyhawk out, we're going to taxi, and we're going to take off and basically do a circuit or two. I'm just going to kind of talk about my final impressions of the beta, and that's really important. This isn't my final impressions of X-Plane 11, obviously, because X-Plane 11 in its proper format isn't out. This is my first impressions of the beta version. So keep that in mind. So I am going to talk about bugs, I'm going to talk about things that I don't like, but mostly my experience, as you've probably already gathered, of X-Plane 11 has been very, very positive, and so much so that I haven't actually done much flying at all in Prepared. And that is, what's this thing doing? That is really, really saying something. I'm just going to hang back a bit. We've got a Skyhawk who's a bit lost, I think. So he's going to go and do his run-ups. So we'll get to the runway before him, hopefully. No? What's he doing? He's zigzagging all over the place. Let's call the tower and report him. So yeah, as I said, mostly my experience of X-Plane 11 is very... I'm going to just hang back because it's really noisy. Has been exceptionally positive and very, very enjoyable. However, there are a few things that we all know need some work. So I'm not really going to focus on that too much. We can mention them, but this is a beta, so, you know, it's not finished. Generally speaking, my excitement for Flight Sim has been renewed, because what I think you experience in X-Plane 11 is what we've all wanted from the start, which is smooth performance. I'm getting 30 frames, which isn't optimized. You know, that's the other thing to think about. This hasn't been optimized yet. And despite only getting 30 frames, what is most impressive is that I'm getting almost no micro stutters, stutters of any kind. It's very, very smooth, and therefore incredibly enjoyable to fly. Much more like the real thing. And then of course you've got X-Plane's flight model, which has always been excellent, much better than, in my opinion, much better than Prepared, and certainly FSX. So all of that stuff coupled together with the amazing lighting effects, the pretty good default aircraft. You know, you can fly this thing right out of the box and have a really fun time. That's all I've been doing. I've been flying default aircraft in default scenery, and I'm absolutely loving it. I think that says a lot, because I've got a lot of add-ons in Prepared 3D, and I've got a lot, you know, planes and scenery, and that, I have to say, isn't drawing me back to it right now. I think, as I said, I think in my first video, that is slightly to do with the fact that it's new, but it's a very small proportion of why I keep coming back to X-Plane 11. And the reason is because this thing feels totally alive. I've said that before, I know. It's smooth as silk, and it feels like the real thing, closer to the real thing, which as a student pilot, frame issues there, a student pilot and avid simulator kind of a guy, is really all I'm after. I do not want to spend hours and hours trying to tweak software, trying to buy other software to make the software run better. To me, that's just it's not what it's about. I get the fun of that, but I'm not a programmer. I'm not that interested in that side of things. I just want to fly, get better at flying, and I want to get the best possible experience I can on a home computer with a relatively decent setup, you know, and the controls. I want the controls to work without any hassle. I want the scenery to look good. I want it to feel good. And to be honest, that is X-Plane 11 in a nutshell, because it does all of that extremely well. That's why I keep coming back to it. So I'm going to just hold short here, let this guy take off. Put our flaps down. Landing lights are on, as you can see. So that's the landing lights off. That's on. Very, very cool lighting effects. Just watch this guy take off. Look at that. Stunning. And he's away. There he goes. I wonder where he's off to. Or she, sorry. He or she. Right, let's just get back into our position. We've just been cleared for takeoff. And we'll taxi on out and line up. This would absolutely, just for the record, be my sim of recommendation for anyone wanting to get into flight sim. So if you've got limited experience in flight simming, this would absolutely be the way in, I think. I think in that sense, this is a complete game changer. There's really no need to mess around with Prepared and FSX. Sorry, Dovetail. I just don't think there's any need. Dovetail Flight School, let's talk a little bit about that, because that has got some cool features. I think the lessons are pretty good. I haven't tried the lessons on this yet. I'm going to wait until the full version comes out, and then I'm going to sort of maybe do a couple of them and review them. But I would say that Dovetail is worth a look if you really have zero experience in flying, because it just teaches you the fundamentals. I'm sure this does as well. That's the thing. So I can't comment on that because I haven't tried the lessons. So I will try them and I'll get back to you on it. But if you can already fly a bit in a sim and you've got some experience and you just want it to work, I would absolutely 100%, without any shadow of a doubt, recommend X-Plane 11 above everything else. Let's get this thing off the ground. Looking for about 90 knots to rotate. Rotate, there we go, up we go. Oops, up we go. Someone didn't set his trim. Takeoff trim. Gear up. And let's just have a look at that. That is stunning, absolutely stunning. I really hope that this comes across on the videos. I'm not sure it does quite as well because I've watched them back on my big TV and it looks alright, but it's not as good as it looks in the actual sim. Really isn't. Okay, first stage of flap is up. Oh my word, look at that city below. Absolutely stunning. So we're going to fly at about 2,000 feet, and we're going to do some circuits basically. We're going to take in the city of Cape Town, and yeah, just have some fun flying this. Pretty cool. This is growing on me, this Cirrus. I don't even know what the full name of it is, but kind of like it a lot. So we're looking to do this westerly turn at about 270 to get our right angle adjacent. It's slightly off north of the runway, so we'll probably do about 280, about there, I would say. Absolutely stunning lighting effects here from the sun and everything else. Let's just have a glance out the window. Whoops. Yeah, there we go. There's the airfield there. Obviously being careful of these mountains. Oops, we're climbing up here, sorry, not paying attention. Alright, so we're on a heading of 272, so then we're going to start our downwind, and we're looking for 180 degrees or thereabouts. Slight descending turn just to get rid of some of that altitude. I'm going to maintain about 2,000 feet. Slowly coming out that turn. There we go. We should have the yep, there's the airfield on our left side, and we're going to follow this road basically down, and we'll do a base leg onto final. We're trying to maintain 2,000 feet. But yeah, I've done this flight before, and I got a replay. As I was coming into land, a flock of birds got just hit me out of nowhere, and lost all power on final. So I'm wondering if that'll happen again. I have got a replay of it, so I'll try and play you a little clip of that at the end, just so you can see. By the way, if you wanna, you can save your replays. I've only just worked out how to do it. But if you've got a replay and you haven't hit the record button, because X-Plane does have a record facility, if you click on exit, you go to the main menu, and you can click on save flight, and you get the option of saving the situation. So in other words, a particular aircraft at a particular airfield, or you can save a replay, provided you've just done a flight. Very, very cool. If you forget to hit record, then you've still got that. I'm just going to get rid of this those bands there. Very cool feature, like that a lot. Especially if something cool happens and unexpected, and you're not recording, that you can always retrace it. That's a very, very cool learning feature. So yeah, so I'm wondering if that's going to happen again. It might well. Don't know. Alright, so we'll start our base turn. We're looking for about 90 degrees, more or less, give or take. Adjusting as we go, a little bit of left rudder. in there, trying to bleed off 100 feet. I'm not managing to do that very well, never mind. Okay, it's starting to roll out. And just have a little glance. Okay. There we are, we're not too bad. We're sort of on par with what we should be doing. So I'm gonna go to idle. We're gonna go down to about 1,200 feet, and we'll start our gradual descent in and slow down, ready for landing. And then we're on about 85 degrees, so we're going to be looking for once we get to the right position, obviously we're heading north, so we're looking for 0 degrees or plus or minus 10 degrees, I'd say, more or less. So what I've noticed with this aircraft, when you put the first stage of flaps down, it's like putting the brakes on. Watch this. So it balloons up, and look at that speed coming down. Pretty dramatic. Oops, totally missed it. Sorry, I was too concerned with that sound. So we're going to put our gear down. That's why we're getting that warning. And we'll try and straighten up. Pretty dramatic turn here. This is like this jet thing is like a little fighter jet. It's really fun to fly. And quite easy to fly actually. Looking at the PAPI lights, it's telling us we're too high, so we'll just adjust for that. I'm going to go full flat now, so we're pretty much configured. I really have to battle the aircraft pitching up with that. I think that's maybe slightly overdone. I've never flown a jet before, so I don't know, but it doesn't feel that natural. So now we're just kind of lining up. And whoops, I've got my highly annoying microphone cable interfering with my yoke there, sorry. Alright, a little bit of power. So we've got one red PAPI light, expecting to see 2 any moment.
500.
Right, and we're looking out for birds. Hopefully we're not going to get a flock of birds come this time. I'd be interested to know how they've programmed that and what the frequency is. I'm sure it wouldn't happen every time. That would suck. But every now and again it's kind of cool. So we're going to do a touch and go, and we'll do another circuit. We'll do a quicker one. We'll do a tighter circuit this time. No birds this time. That's cool. Look at the way the landing lights illuminate the ground. That's very cool. No stuttering on final approach. Absolutely gloriously smooth. Bang on the center line, more or less, and kissing the tarmac. Flap up and rotate. Positive rate. Adjusting the trim. And there we go. No birds that time. but very, very cool. Very smooth. And that's the thing that I'm still not quite getting used to. I think what happens is when you fly Prepared and FSX is you almost compensate for stuttering on final, and which usually means flaring earlier than you would to compensate for the computer catching up. That's certainly been the case on my PC again, and I'm running, my PC is no slouch really, so I'm flaring too early in this just because I'm not used to the responsiveness of the software. Maybe that's to do with the fact that it's 64-bit, but generally just the performance is better. Flaps all the way up. Look at our speed rocket up there as we put the flaps up. I'm not sure about that. Anyway, it's alright. Just means you have to manage it a bit better with the throttle. Maybe that is flying a jet. Maybe that's how it is. This is a very fast plane. Okay, so we're definitely going to do a tighter circuit this time. So looking now for 180, more or less. As I said, we'll do a lower circuit as well. So we'll maintain 1800 feet if we can, just to see a different part of the city. We'll start to roll this out. Let's have a look at the airfield as we pass it. Oops, really busting my altitudes here all over the place. So we'll do one more circuit, and then what we might do is go and fly. We'll go away a bit and have a look over here. I don't know what looks more interesting. Maybe we'll fly over this bay, have a look around there. And I'll just share my thoughts with you a bit more. Let me know how you're getting on with it in the comments. Like I said, if you're new to Flight Sim and you're umming and erring, should I get this or should I get Prepared? Save yourself a lot of hassle, a lot of money, and get X-Plane 11. You don't need any add-ons, you don't need any scenery. It looks this good right out of the box. I've done nothing to it. All I've done is calibrate my yoke, rudder pedals, throttle quadrant, which is really ever so simple to do, and you just get on flying. That is the way forward. It really is. Alright. Bit fast for flaps, I think. Well, we'll go for it. So first stage, trying to correct that ballooning, watching the speed like a hawk so it doesn't drop down too much. Gear down. Looking for 90 degrees or thereabouts. That should, just have a quick look. Yeah, I think we're doing okay. We're not going to leave it too long now for our final turn. We'll go full flat. Oh no, there we are. Sorry, I've overcompensated there a wee bit. Just watching our speed. Obviously, the base leg and the final, really the most critical points of flight. It's where things can go wrong. You're close to the ground, you're slow, you've got very little time to correct anything if something does go wrong. So I think we're going to be a wee bit high here actually, but we'll just come off the throttle. I'll bring the front nose down. And again, we're just sort of monitoring all aspects. rate of descent, our speed, our turn, our, our yaw, everything. And it's pretty steep, but as soon as we see a change in those 4 white lights, I think you kind of get a sense of intuition with it after a while, the more you do it. Apologies for that notification. It is an explain notification. I posted in one of the forums, so it is relevant. But I'll get rid of that as soon as we've touched down. There we go. A little bit of a hard landing. Oh, it's gone already. So flap 1 stage up, full throttle, and up we go again. Tell you what, let's make gear up, flaps up. Let's change the lighting a bit, and we'll just have a little fly around, and we'll just see the airport as we make this turn. Oh man, look at that. Very super cool. Tell you what, let's follow this road a bit, and then we'll fly along the ridge here out to the coast, and then we'll come back. So we'll keep it all pretty low. Very nice, very nice. Let's make it even more like daytime. Really changes the feel of the cockpit. I like that a lot, as it would, you know, in real life, really. I just love looking at the lights. Really do. But equally, the landscape comes alive as well. Look at the way it all blends in. Really nice. The haze. Okay, let's talk about the haze. There's been a lot of complaints about the amount of haze in this. I think I said in one of my videos, I kind of agree, but at the same time, I think it's pretty realistic. I think it's a tad too much, but you just don't see all the detail when you're flying. You know, there is haze, there is pollution, there is, you know, mist, fog, and light scattering and all that sort of stuff. It becomes very like this, actually. Very, very seldomly do you get really clear days where you can see for miles. Certainly in the UK. You know, even out in the countryside, there's pollution of all kinds, and it has an effect on how you see. You know, so to me, I think it's pretty bang on. It's overdone a tiny bit, perhaps, but not as much as people are making out, in my opinion. Of course, whatever that means, you know. But to me, it doesn't bother me at all. In fact, you know, half the time for me using a sim is to put myself in a situation where either it's out of my reach to do it in a real plane, or I'm not comfortable doing it, or, you know, I'm using this as a means of becoming a better pilot in the real world. So things like mist and fog, if it was misty, foggy, if my visibility was down to a certain number, then I just wouldn't fly. I wouldn't be allowed to fly. But here I can actually try it, you know. So that's where this really, really comes into its own, really. Now that we're approaching the water, they've got some work to do with the water. And I think also they've got work to do with the clouds. I don't know whether they're planning to do any of that for the final release, but I'm convinced that they will take care of that sort of thing in the future. I'm totally convinced of that, which makes it really exciting. It's an investment, really. That's how I see it. I know, and one of the other things, questions and complaints is that, well, you know, I've invested so much time and money in another sim, Prepared, for example, which I have. You know, I really have. I have spent, you know, I dread to think. I don't even want to think about it, because it is a bit painful. It truly is. Because none of that stuff will work in this. However, flying this makes me forget about all that, because, well, it speaks for itself. And I think if you've experienced it at all, you know, and I don't think the demo really gives you enough of a chance. That is potentially a bit of a criticism for me. I think half an hour and then locking up the flight controls doesn't really give you enough time, in my opinion. And it's a bit frustrating, because you're just kind of getting into it, getting a feel for it, and it locks up. So it's, in a sense, it's clever, because it makes you want to just get it. But at the same time, I would have liked a little bit longer, maybe an hour. I think you know, the result would have been the same, but I wouldn't have had this feeling of being a little bit mean. You know what I mean? I don't know. Look at this. Absolutely gorgeous coastline here. Lovely. We haven't been outside yet. Let's have a look outside. Very cool. It's the smoke effect. I still haven't quite worked out. I guess it's for aerobatics and that sort of thing. Gorgeous. Anyway, let's turn back. Towards land. You can see out here in the ocean I'm getting almost 50 frames, which is very nice. Again, given it that it's not optimized, I've got pretty much all the sliders maxed out, with the exception of the I've still got compressed textures. I haven't gone uncompressed, so I'm one notch away. Pretty confident I could go all out with that and it would be fine, but like I said, I want the smoothest possible experience. I care more about that than I do the prettiness of it. I mean, they're both important, but if I was given a choice, it would be smoothness and frame, you know, good frames. So I don't mind dialing down a bit to get that. Part of me really hopes we get those birds on our way in, because that was kind of cool. Actually, I wonder, let me just try something here. World. Water in fuel. Wow, see, I haven't explored any of this. Vertigo, what is this? Bird strike. Fail when Control F is pressed. I think by fail it means Fail at exact altitude. Right, okay. We're going to have a bird strike at 1,000 feet, which will be on final. Let's make this happen. Let's spice things up a bit. That's very cool. I'm just going to bring up the map. Where are we? Is it? Cirrus Fusion, that's us, but that's not us. That's a bit out of sync. No, wait, this is us. That's us. Yeah, that's definitely us. Okay, alright, we can get rid of that. That moving map is a really, really cool feature, and again, if you've got a multiple screen setup, you can have it on another screen. It does kill some frames, but nothing too drastic. And again, once this thing is fully optimized, I'm sure you won't notice any difference in frames at all, which is awesome. So we'll slow this baby down. Double check the map again. Alright, yeah. Kind of slightly too far over. We'll fly along this coast a bit. That's what we're aiming for. Whoops. Seriously thinking of getting Track IR, guys. What do you think? Did anyone use it? I get a bit bored of using the mouse look, and it doesn't work very well for me. And the hat switch is too slow. And as of yet, there's no fix for that, as far as I know. So maybe Track IR would be the way forward. It's one of the few things that I haven't thought about getting. Mostly because of the prospect of virtual reality. Right, let's go stage 1. Flaps, watching our speed, taking care of that ballooning. And geared down. So remember, we've got 800. We don't want to dip below 1,000 feet because we're going to get loads of birds flying at us. So we want that to happen on the final. So because we're making this happen now, I'm not going to... I said I was going to replay the video that I did before, but there'll be no point. So we're experiencing it together, and it's pretty scary. Right, so from this point, I'm not going to think about the birds, because I'm now sort of thinking, well, I'm trying to avoid being hit. But we'll see. 1,000 feet, that doesn't give us much time, we might not make the runway. So I don't know if this is going to work or not in terms of us surviving it, but we'll give it a try. Especially because we're slow. I'm high. I'm purposely high, which is not correct. I should just be following procedures, just as I would without the knowledge we're going to be hit by a load of seagulls. Here we go. Oh dear. All right. Okay, so what's happened actually is slightly different to what happened before. We haven't lost engines, but we've got an engine fire, I think. Let me just jump out. Yeah, we have, yeah. So that's cool. So you would then execute your engine fire procedures. I don't know what they are for this aircraft, so we're just going to land the thing. When it happened before, totally took out engines. Alright, we've lost power now. So the fire is spreading. But I had smoke in the cabin and all sorts of stuff. Kind of cool. So it looks like we've got away with it this time. Where are the fire trucks? Pretty serious fire there. Oops. But we're down, we're safe, but we have completely lost all engines. So, I guess the procedure would be shut the fuel off. I don't know how much is modelled in here. Anyway. We're down and we're safe. So I'm just going to go to this view so we don't have that bell going on. So our engines are cut out there. So the fire was extinguished and or at least contained, which is good. But yeah, when I did that before, I had complete engine failure on impact. Smoke in the cabin. Things were not looking good, but I guess that's random. I guess as you do these different failures and different scenarios, it you know, things change. It hits different parts of the plane. That's very cool. Is there any sign of any physical damage? That would be awesome, wouldn't it? Again, maybe that's something they can implement. Doesn't look like it. It still looks very shiny and nice. But maybe in the future. I don't know, guys, it's all possible. Anything is possible with this. Yeah, not a scratch on her. But how cool would that be to actually model damage? Oh look, there's an Emirates flight. Anyway, guys, I really hope you've enjoyed this series of 3 videos. If you haven't seen the other 2, I highly recommend you do. My initial reaction is the first look, and then we did a second look, and now this has been the third look, third and final look, just sort of summarizing my experiences, and you can take them or leave them, to be honest. I mean, I'd love to know your thoughts, especially if they're differing, and or even if you agree, you know, it'd be just nice to hear from you. I think, in my honest opinion, just to summarize before we end this video, this I think is a game changer. I think it's going to bring a new generation of people into flight sim, which I think is awesome. Gone are the days where you have to do endless tweaking, you have to know stuff about the config file and all that sort of thing. This just works out the box. It looks great, it feels great, and it behaves in the way that you want it to. I think since having it, it's crashed twice. Which is just outstanding. I mean, the level of complexity that it takes to run a flight sim is mind-blowing. It really is, honestly. And a flight model of this complexity makes that even more so, and yet it doesn't crash. Probably to do with the memory usage, But anyway, I'm really looking forward to the final optimized version coming out, which still says before, I think it says this holiday season. So, you know, we don't have that long to wait. If it were me, if you were thinking about getting this, don't think, just get it. I think for the price, it's absolutely worth every penny or every cent. So don't think. If you are wondering between Prepared FSX or this, if you haven't invested in anything, get this. If you have invested in Prepared, give this some serious thought. You know, try the demo. Yes, you only get half an hour, but you can, you know, you get a feel for it, sort of. I think it will make you want to switch. Anyway, that's my opinion, guys. I hope that's been helpful, and look out for many more videos. I'm on a bit of a roll at the moment with videos. They're coming out pretty much every day or every other day. Hope to continue that. I am going to continue my series which are in Prepared. The flight down to Barcelona. We're currently at La Rochelle, so we're halfway through. And apologies if you've been following that and you've been waiting for the next leg. I've just been having way too much fun in X-Plane, and again, that's another feather in the X-Plane 11 cap, but I will be coming back to that. I have also started a series in Prepared again, flying the PMDG 737 around Thailand. I am going to be completing that too in Prepared. I might do a few of them in X-Plane just to check out the scenery and stuff, but I am continuing with all of those and doing more stuff in X-Plane, absolutely, because it really does excite me, and I'm loving it. So thanks again, guys. Please like and subscribe and share if you haven't already. I really appreciate your support. Since doing these X-Plane videos, my views have rocketed. The first initial videos got over 5,000 views in about a week, and that's amazing for me. That's mind-blowing. So thank you for viewing it, and thank you for all my new subscriptions. I've got about 120 more subscriptions than I did last week, thanks to you know, me doing these videos on X-Plane. So I really do appreciate the support. Please keep commenting, throw some ideas around, and yeah, I'll see you very soon in the next video. Thanks, guys. Take care.